Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Palace. Me and Henry, full of smiles after Crystal Palace beat Liverpool 2-1 to remain the only undefeated team left in the Premier League. And after this weekend's football, we are third in the league. How are you feeling, Henry, mate? How are you feeling?
I've had worse weekends. I think it's fair to say I've definitely had worse. Yeah, just over the moon. I think I've watched the highlight. I haven't watched Match of the Day for years, but I actually sat down and watched it back properly last night. We were first on Match of the Day, which, as I said, I haven't watched it much, but as far as I'm aware, that never happens. So just over the moon. Such a good result. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get more into the game later on.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And if you are new around here, do not forget to subscribe, follow. And we've been getting amazing comments lately. Really appreciating all of them. Cheers for all the feedback as well. It's really good to see people enjoying this every week. So we are loving it at the moment. We're going to continue bringing it weekly as well. But yeah, let's dive into the Liverpool game. We'll talk about the first half. Honestly, could have been 4-0 at half time. That was possibly, for me, mate, one of the best Crystal Palace's performance I've ever seen that first half. What did you think of it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll caveat it by saying I was working. So I produced for BBC Radio Sussex. So I was covering the Brighton game, unfortunately, but I had it on my laptop, so I was watching the game whilst I was kind of editing goal clips and whatnot. And yeah, honestly, just every time I looked to the left where my computer was, we were attacking, or we'd almost scored, or Alisson was making a good save, or we'd hit the bar or the post or whatever. Just superb. I think we kind of all said before the game, this is kind of maybe the first time we've got like the strongest team that we can, and it definitely looked that way. It really looked like things were clicking. But even then, I'd still say that in that first half, I don't think that's the best we can play. You know, Pino missed chances. Mateta wasn't as clinical as he normally is. And like you said, I'd actually changed the wording. I don't think we could have been, 3 or 4 nil up. I think, to be honest, we probably should have been. But honestly, just unbelievable first half.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely surreal to watch what we were doing. I was blown away myself, just like Liverpool were. We made Konate look absolutely awful as a defender. Genuinely, he was
He
being
was
run
bad, wasn't he?
ragged by Mateta. Mateta was really good at most of his stuff. The one complaint, I guess, would be his one-on-one finishing. Wasn't great at all, really. You know, people do discuss Mateta and they say he's a player who actually is a much better finisher when he's got less time to think about it, which is a bit of food for thought, isn't it? But yeah, we had so many chances. But just to talk about the goal, corner, set piece, we are lethal from them this season. All our defenders are monsters at the moment. And, you know, I think that just sums up how good Sarr has been for us because he's right place, right time. His one opportunity, his first opportunity, and he scores it, mate. How good was it to see him back in the team sheet and, you know, backfiring goals already?
Yeah, I mean he's so important for us, isn't he? Ismail Assar. We saw that in the later stages of the FA Cup. I mean that semi-final against Villa, he was the best player on the pitch by I think quite some distance. I just think the whole outlet that he gives us. He's really important for when when Wharton and Hughes or Wharton and Kamada win the ball high, or even just win the ball back in midfield, having that trigger where you've got Pino going, Mateta going, and then you've got on one side Sarr and Munoz, who are both ridiculously fast, especially Sarr. It was just so good to have him back. And I think it's good timing. I think, to be honest, I'd probably play him on in midweek as well, just to kind of get that kind of feeling back into his legs a bit. But I mean, he was brilliant, and to be honest, it's a really good finish as well. Like I think, yeah, he's close. It's close range, but we saw throughout the game how Alisson is, and how big he makes himself, and the fact that he's kind of smashed it beyond two Liverpool defenders. I think it's just a good finish, and I was over the moon when I saw him score. But for it to be Ismail Assar, 20 minutes or so back into his return to football, brilliant, superb.
Yeah, Sarr was absolutely phenomenal, as you said, to get it past the two Liverpool defenders as well for that finish was amazing. We're not biased, or we try to not be biased on this show, so I will briefly bring up possibly not a Palace corner. You know, there is that contention, but with them decisions, in my opinion, like it is impossible to call. So I don't really. I'm quite happy that there hasn't been a lot of flack from the media on that one and a lot of complaints, apart from salty Liverpool fans. But that was always going to be the
Do you
case, wasn't
think?
it?
Do you think though that if that was the other way around, they would have shown it in the highlights on YouTube like they did? Because I just think if it was Palace who were conceding unfair, yeah, it's not a corner. But if that had gone the other way and Liverpool ended up scoring, you would not be seeing why the corner was given. You would just see it from the corner being taken. I guarantee it.
Yeah, to be fair, it kind of sums it up on like we will talk about Liverpool's goal properly in a bit, but just want to say Match of the Day literally didn't bring up the fact that it was being VAR'd for a handball, which was really weird. But they brought up the offside being VAR'd. But I just thought if you're a highlight show, you should bring up the fact that it was a thing that
It's
referees looked at.
I mean, yeah, we can talk about that now if you want, but I mean, it is a handball. And if you think
Yeah,
that's a natural position for an arm to be in, well, it's straight on we recorded my podcast last night, and me and all the boys all had our hands up in the air for about 5 minutes just to show that it was definitely not a natural position to have your arm in. But it's like, yeah, he doesn't get the biggest touch on it, but it definitely impacts because Richards is kind of like stooping behind him to clear it,
yeah,
and he's obviously doing that looking at the flight of the ball. And I mean, Chris Richards is pretty bloody good at football. I'd back him at least probably 9 out of 10 times to meet that ball and clear it.
yeah.
And it's taken the slightest little touch off of Salah's hand, which is straight above his head. And I just do not understand how that's not been disallowed. So they can complain about the corner going the wrong way, but I think the worst decision was definitely probably that one.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was 1-1 decisions really, but that one was crazy because they said there was no evidence of it being a handball, where the evidence was the 30 replays that they showed, which was just surreal. And yeah, Chris Richards is good at football, especially with his head, so he's not going to misjudge the ball timing of that as badly as he did. There was a clear touch, and it just reminded me of that Lacazette one. Was it Lacazette a couple of years back at Selhurst? The hand of God for a corner, I think he basically scored from.
Yeah. I think it might be.
Yeah, so just similar, like it just really weird. It wasn't given, to be fair, in terms of the decision our way. But, you know, first half we talked about there as well. Great performance. We should have been 4-5-0 up. I think that was obviously the only complaint. I think Alisson proved he's one of the best goalies in the world. Yet again, I think every time we play against them, he is making these really big saves. He is very good at what he does, and that's what the bigger teams do. They keep in it with some big moments like the Alisson saves. And as we said, Liverpool equalised. But, 20 minutes before that or whatever, it did feel like Liverpool were hammering the pressure. How did you find how we played that second half, mate, compared to the first and just overall?
Well, I mean, I tweeted at halftime. I was like, "We are gonna. This is gonna go two ways. We're either gonna really, really regret these missed opportunities, or we're somehow gonna ride it out." And to be honest, when the second half kick, I mean, I don't know if it's just me. I mean, obviously, you being out of the ground, that second half felt so long. I mean, it just felt like it just went on forever until they scored. And then, to be honest, even after they scored, it felt like it dragged because I was just convinced that if anyone was going to win the game, it was them. And I think Liverpool got better in the second half, but for the most part, we defended very well. Even once we'd scored the winning goal, there was a moment where the ball was kind of bouncing through midfield and Lacroix just comes out, absolutely smashes two Liverpool players out of the way and clears it about 60 yards. Probably went out the stadium. You couldn't really tell from the telly, but honestly, I mean, just defended well, compact. Also picked our moments well on the counter attack, had a few good chances.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the second half was just a very standard Palace performance, that we're used to now.
Yeah, massively agree. We don't need to have all the possession. It's not about that. And we actually had more touches in the opposition box than Liverpool did, despite them having so much possession in that second half, especially. Really good defensively. The goal was a bit annoying to concede, but, this is what Crystal Palace does now with Oliver Glasner. They don't park the bus. They don't bring on more defenders or whatever to keep the draw. They have the mentality to possibly get the winner. Obviously, not take the mick with it. They're still being defensive. It is still the league leaders and title holders in Liverpool, but they're not gonna put the ball in the corner, so to speak. They're not gonna time waste to try and see out a 1-1. They get a long throw in, mate, and absolutely cause chaos with it. And just like our set pieces with corners, Hughes header onto Gay, and then Nketiah with an absolutely brilliant finish, by the way, chest and volley. To do that in that kind of last minute, that composure was proper striker's composure. Really good to see, especially with him playing well against West Ham in his cameo. It was chaos limbs at Selhurst Park. One of the best limbs we've ever seen. Maybe will be the best we've ever seen. But yeah, mate, what did you think of that overall goal?
Yeah, I mean, long throw is really coming back into fashion, isn't it? But I think there's a big difference between trying to throw the ball as far as you can and having a player who can quite literally launch it like that. I mean, what a throw! He's hit it. He's hit it. He's threw it so fast. The trajectory on it is just incredible. It's kind of not even looped. It's kind of just glided in a straight line like a bullet. So all the initial headers from Lacroix's got to do is jump and try and get some sort of flick. Falls to Hughes, who does really well, to be fair. One more flick on from, of course, Mark Gay, and then I'd talk about staying calm under pressure. I mean, taking that touch on you. There's a fly. Sorry, there's a little fly right in my face. It's like almost going in my mouth. Takes the one touch on his chest, and then the volley is unbelievable, straight through Alisson's legs, and it just so cool,
Yeah.
calm, collected, and that's really impressive for me because he's not a player that's been incredible for Palace. He's had moments, he's struggled at times quite a bit, and obviously he's been injured. But to come back in and to have that level of composure and just be so ruthless and clinical with realistically the one big chance you get in the game, I mean, it was just the perfect return for Nketiah, and also a really important moment for him. I think, and also it felt, I don't know about you, but watching it, it felt similar. I felt similar after that game to how I felt when we drew against Newcastle at home last year. And it's not, obviously, we were having a really bad time of it, and that kind of really did feel like a turning point. But this kind of felt like a turning point, even from where we are now, that actually we can beat anybody. We have the ability, we have the players, we've got the passion, we're good enough defensively, and we're good enough going forward. There's no reason why we can't grind out results. So I mean, yeah, it's just a unbelievable kind of end to the game.
Yeah, agree wholeheartedly with everything you say there. The mentality, the way we finished the game, the comparisons to Newcastle, it was spectacular to see us get that win. And I will give some little praise to Arne Slot because his comments after the game were very respectful, sorry. He obviously was moaning a bit during the game, but all managers do. But to see him then after the game kind of say we deserved the win, we were truly dominant in the first half. And I think I haven't heard this, but apparently someone said he even said, even though it was 97 minutes, when it was 6 minutes added on, he did say that was completely fairs as well. So it was kind of just refreshing to see the opposition manager, actually giving us our flowers and our full praise that we did deserve for that game because, we went in there with a game plan, we turned up and we had the mentality to try and win that game. And that's what we did. And I think, yes, it exposed Liverpool a little bit in terms of their weaknesses as well. So it'll be really interesting. And we're recording this just after the Arsenal last-minute winner. So now the title race is between Liverpool, Arsenal and Palace. So, exciting times for sure. But let's talk about kind of players' performances. For me, so hard. Who would you be giving the man of the match, mate, if you had to pick? I'll let you have a few nominations as well if you want.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so I'm not going to pretend that I was able to sit and have my eyes
Yeah.
fixed to the screen, because as I'm sure everyone listening will be aware, Brighton had quite the kind of dramatic game as well. So I was editing up a lot of clips and then having to take calls from very excited Brighton fans to get on air. But from what I did watch, I think Kamada was brilliant. I was really impressed with Kamada. I mean, and that's not just because I saw a lot of people saying it on social media. He was kind of one of the players. Like I say, if I wasn't looking up and seeing Palace miss a chance, I was looking up and seeing Kamada doing something positive. I think Pino played really well. I really liked the moment where he won the ball. He was a bit deeper than Wharton, and he won it and kind of did a little kind of overhead kick through to Wharton. Just a nice moment. And then I probably maybe Max Lacroix. But to be honest, you're probably in a better position than me to give your kind of man of the match from being out of the game, actually being able to watch it individually.
Yeah, well, all great performances from the players you mentioned. Yeah, I think defensively as well, Kamada was superb. And I think Kamada, for me, I've learned my lesson in terms of just judging players. You've got to remember how tough this league is. And yes, it took him a bit too long to adjust, but now he's fully adjusted. He's one of the most important players on our team. Him and Wharton as a midfield duo are absolutely superb. Wharton was amazing as per usual. Munoz and Sarr, if you're an opposition defender down that side, it must be impossible to enjoy your game because you've got the tireless defending and pressure and tackling of Munoz, and then you've got the pace and the counter attack and the trickery of Sarr in terms of, being able to get that finish off. And yeah, for me, they were both really good as well. Mateta, only thing missing was the goal. Honestly, he was an absolute. I'm listing everyone on the team at the moment, but it was
no, but I know what you mean about Mateta, because I said in my preview that, like, I think one of the biggest kind of difference makers in the game was going to be how Mateta played, not necessarily in terms of scoring, but in terms of how he could hold the ball up against the two Liverpool centre backs. And as you alluded to earlier, he made Konate look like a little bitch. I mean, Konate was like rolling around crying to the referee because Mateta was just brushing him aside, one hand on his arm, and pulls him back a little bit, and Konate's throwing himself to the floor. I mean, he looked awful. But I think another massive shout out has to go to Tyrick Mitchell, because I genuinely didn't even realise that Mo Salah was playing. I mean, he may as well not have been on the pitch. And this is kind of becoming a bit of a consistent theme with Mitchell, that it doesn't matter who he's playing against. You actually just don't. There's no danger down that side of the pitch. I think sometimes we do get exposed a little bit down Munoz's side because of how attacking he is. But to be honest, I think the majority of the way that opponents try and attack us is either down our right-hand side or more centrally. I don't think they even bother going down the left because Mitchell is so solid.
Yeah, agree massively. It's insane. I actually think Mitchell should be floating on the edge of an England call-up now again, because he's actually 100%. Offering a lot in attack as well, and that's what England managers ask for in their fullbacks these days over the defensive work, because most of the games are teams sitting back, so you have to accept that. So Mitchell's adding more to his game. He's having a superb season, and to be honest, I don't know if it's because of how good Mitchell has looked, but when I've seen Sosa play, I feel like he's looked average compared to Mitchell. I think that just shows how high level Mitchell is playing at the moment. And on the defence as well, Hendo, amazing saves again when needed. The first half one against Gravenberch, the second half one, I know it's straight at him, but he still has to do it. Right place, right time. Countless times now, Dean Henderson has been absolutely just like you're batting the fly away there, mate. He's been absolutely phenomenal at using his hands. He's saved us so many points and obviously helped us win the FA Cup with how good he's been. I mean, he's just a great bloke as well. So yeah, it was fantastic.
I couldn't agree more with that last sentence. He's just a fucking top bloke. He's brilliant.
Yeah, he absolutely loves it, doesn't he? Chanting with us on social media all the time as well, which is just them little things. Running for the goal as well. Fantastic. And then just for me, Mark Gay this last year, I think he's become such a threat in the when we're attacking in the box on set pieces and long throw-ins for his height. And that's what a lot of people moan about. Which is completely fair.
But he got a weird reputation for being really not very good in the air. When he was never like, I don't think he was ever poor in the air. I mean, it was almost like that was just, especially Big Six fans, when there was kind of the first initial rumours of them looking at Mark Gay. It was all like, oh yeah, he's good technically and he's good on the floor, but he's really poor in the air. And you'd kind of be like, what makes you say that? I think at one point somebody said that to me, and he'd won like 80% or something of his aerial duels, which is really, really good. It's like, well, where's the proof? Like, what are you talking about? Just because he's not 6'7" or something like Van Dijk, it's bizarre.
Yeah, no, massively agree. He's been at that level, and I think, as I was saying, these last 12 months, it's gone up. Like, he's massively crucial at set pieces now. He's always seems to be winning a knock on, like beating players in the air. The physicality he's got to his game and the strength he's adding even more now. Phenomenal centre back. I hope Liverpool fans now realise why we couldn't just let him go on deadline day like they expected us to. But yeah, amazing team performance, as you said as well. Pino, really good. Everyone was just really good. The subs worked for the most part. Well, more than for the most part, really. Hughes
Yeah.
did his bit, and we march on, mate. So, what are our expectations now this season? What would you like to see from Palace this season?
Jesus Christ! Nobody's
Big
actually asked me
question.
that. Nobody's asked me that question yet. So I need a set. I mean, I did the maths in my reaction video after the game because we're on 12 points after 6 games, which is 2 points a game, which averages over a 38 game season. I believe 72 points. I might have done the maths wrong, but it's something like that.
Yeah,
And yeah, I just think that if we somehow manage to finish on 72 points, that would be, third last year. So that would be Champions League football. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not convinced it will. But I don't know. Just like keep doing what we're doing, man. Like I think as long as we I think the problem is this run is going to end at some point. And knowing
yeah,
Palace, it will end against Bournemouth or Everton in the next 2 Premier League games. And I think we should all be prepared for that, but also not really care that much because I think the
yeah,
worst thing that can happen is that our run ends and it's like, oh no, it's the biggest end. It's the end of the world. It's the biggest deal, and then that kind of impacts the players, and then suddenly we go from being unbelievable to being not very good. But I just want consistency. If we can stay at the
yeah,
level we're at, we won't win every game. We might lose a couple of games, even playing how we are, and that's fine. But if we continue putting in the same level of performance and the players keep demanding the same amount from each other, from themselves, likewise with Glasner, then that's all you can really ask for. I mean, I'd love to finish in the European places through the league. I mean, a top 7 place would be unbelievable. I literally can't even imagine it. Anything higher. I mean, could you imagine? I know it's outlandish, but can you imagine we got Champions League football? So, could you imagine?
I
But
can't, mate.
I've got to say, the Palace badge looks good at the top of the table. It
Yeah,
looks like it fits in there. That's the only
it
thing I
belongs.
will say. And on SofaScore, when you press on like the green like third place, and it says Crystal Palace Champions League, yeah, I could go make the most of it, boys.
Yeah, we always say that now these weeks, don't we? Make the most of this Glasgow area, enjoy it. But yeah, I think same as you. I think the high target should be challenge for top 7. If not, it could still be a good season. Win the Conference League or in the Europa League, anyways. That's going to be the big battle, isn't it? Can we adapt and play as well consistently with the tougher Europa Conference League games and then some big games after? Got Kiev this week, Everton next week. They are our bogey team. I'm fully if we beat or draw against Everton at Everton, we're going invincible. I am fully believing that because they are the biggest bogey team we've ever had. The last
Yeah, I
team to
think
beat
it's
us at Selhurst
7.
Park.
Wasn't it 7 games at Goodison? Obviously, they're not at Goodison anymore, but I think it's 7 games we've gone in there and not won.
Horrible.
Yeah, just really very bad record
Yeah.
against Everton.
Yeah. We can look amazed. We could be Barcelona and they could be battling relegation and we'd still find a way to struggle against them. So for me, that is a huge match. But, talk about Europe there. Thursday, Kiev. How are you feeling about the game? What do you want out of it? Is it we should just be expecting the win or should we kind of, aim for the draw and see what happens?
I mean, firstly, good luck to anyone going, because of all of this bloody. But I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm a
With
bit worried.
hindsight, I'm glad that I didn't get a ticket and that I didn't book flights because I'm just concerned. I really hope that it goes well for all of you, but I'm
Yeah.
just a little bit concerned that there might be some issues, and we don't want
Hopefully
that.
the podcast is still live next week because that means I've made it back okay. So
If not, I will continue it in your memory. Don't worry. You're gonna have to give me the login details just in case.
I'll leave you that in my will. That'll be the thing you get in my will, mate.
I'll take it, mate. I'll take it. Anyway, yeah, no, I think we should. To be honest, I don't want to sound like big-headed or arrogant or anything, but the way we play, we should be absolutely rolling over a team like Dynamo Kyiv. I think their best players, probably Andrew Yarmolenko, who obviously has. I think he did quite well against Palace during his time at West Ham, but
Yeah.
no, I'd expect to win, to be honest, mate. There's a good number of Palace fans going out there, touch wood, and we've got a far superior squad to them. So, I mean, I'd hope for maybe a more comfortable. I think they're probably the kind of team that would maybe try and attack us a little bit more. And I say that purely based on watching them previously in Europe in different years. I haven't watched much of them recently, but I'd hope so, and I think that would just, I think go out there, get a 2-3, 4-0 win, something like that, and then just everybody get home safe. That's kind of the main thing for me.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you a lot today. It is, but you're saying all the perfect things. That is exactly what we should be doing. The one issue is going to be teams who play us in a low block. The not issue, but more the fear of how we're going to cope with it. But we've got the squad depth now and the players, and I think actually players like Pino probably will be quite good in a squad against the team with a low block. He's going to have
I
run the
also
ball.
100%, but I also think that the new, I know it's not new, but the new from last year league format of these European competitions means that you can't just sit back and get a draw, because obviously in the old groups of 4 you could kind of bank on 2, maybe 2 out of your 3 home games and get 6 points, and that be it, and then kind of just go away and just sit deep and play for a 0-0 essentially, or a 1-1. But now there's 38 teams, whatever it is in the league. You need to win your games. So even when we're playing the likes of Larnaca and Kuopio at home, I mean, you'd imagine what would be the point in them being in the competition if they're just going to come to sell us and just put 10 players behind the ball? I mean, obviously that doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but it's the same with Kyiv. We're technically playing away. First game of the tournament, you want to kind of get off to a good start. But yes, hopefully that kind of, obviously with Fredrikstad, they were trying to defend. It's a knockout. Yeah. It's a direct knockout. It makes sense. But against this week against Kyiv, like it's got to be a shootout, surely.
Yeah, I agree. They are the home side. They need to win their home matches if they want to get through as well. So they shouldn't just be sitting back, even if we are a very good side at the moment. It should be a good game. The big thing for me is, if Mateta starts, I think he just needs to get a proper goal. I don't want to say that badly because obviously getting the goal against West Ham was still very crucial. But I like to be fair, his shot outside the box yesterday was insane. I started celebrating. I genuinely thought it was in.
Yeah, my little brother sits in the Holmesdale, like near the tunnel, and he said from his angle, it's kind of gone in diagonal, like across from him, and bounced. It literally, it's in. It must be in.
Oh, yeah, it was actually so crazy. Close. We all thought it was in. So he's clearly he's not lost his confidence or anything, but I just think he needs to get them goals back in his game that we saw last season. The one-on-ones, the chances where he's through on goal basically, because Fredrikstad he missed and Liverpool he's missed, as well. So that would be good to see him. But we've got the squad depth now. Everyone's kind of doing their bit. Everyone's stepping up. I would love to see a Pino goal as well. And yeah, man, it's just so exciting, isn't it? It's so exciting.
Yeah, man. I just can't stop. I can't stop smiling whenever I think about how we're getting on at the minute. I'm just like, yeah. Me and my missus watched Match of the Day this morning, and Liverpool scored. And she was like, "I thought you said they Palace won. Like, what happened?" Like, I was like, "Yeah, no, I was just lying. No, we drew. They saved it last minute." And at the other end, bang, Eddie Nketiah, how flat. But yeah, honestly, just buzzing.
It is amazing. Yeah, I've watched so many highlights of yesterday. I've watched all the fan clips. I think Joe Walker, who does the FYP pod as well, or he's on it as well. He put a perfect clip up of a fan video with the BBC Radio Live commentary.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. The things like that have been amazing to see.
My favourite video was the Palace fan outside the Clifton Arms doing his shoelaces up in front of the Liverpool team bus.
Yes,
and he does his left shoe, and then he does his right shoe, and then he undoes both of them and starts again.
Yeah, it was amazing.
One of the best things I've ever seen. Absolutely sick. I think the Liverpool coach driver was about 5 seconds away from just mowing him over.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That's actually. Talking about the fans, that yesterday was phenomenal. I think it's fair to say, I think Premier League stadiums have lost their atmosphere a little bit, including our own. I think Sunderland, we were quite quiet. But, when we're up for it, when we want to back it properly, and when it's everyone there, we make Sellers Park so intimidating. It's kind of like a call. We need to bring that back, everyone. I think everyone needs to, be united in doing that, because it makes it so much harder for the opposition. And that's what Selhurst Park's all about. And, it was just fully deserved after all we kind of gave the team as well, for the team and us to be able to celebrate that 97th minute goal together. And yeah, it was so nice to see us loud again, if that makes sense, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. And I think it's a bit of a cliche that fans are like the 12th man, but I think for us, we are. I mean, I reckon if you spoke to a lot of the players, they'd say that without the fans that they had behind them at Wembley, they might not win that FA Cup. And likewise, they might say the same about yesterday because it gives you an edge and it spurs you on and it pushes you to just go that extra little bit further. And that I don't think you can underestimate that. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you said, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, for sure. And the players love it as well. I think like just the fans and players at the moment, we're just so connected. So just to be able to give them what we can, the only thing we can do, is great to see home and away. So that definitely really helped yesterday. I mean, I watched Sar's goal back, and Richards, Lacroix, and Mateta are all copying Sar's celebration.
Yeah,
Like
they've all
even
started doing it
briefly,
as
like
well. They've all
it's just
started
so
doing
good.
it because at first it was just JP, and now they're all bloody on it. But it's
Yeah,
funny. That's what I mean, though. They're such like they're so likable. All of these
yeah,
players, and do you know what that does do as well? Is it? I can imagine it makes it really hard to leave because I can guarantee if we didn't have such a kind of likable, close knit group of players, I don't think Mark Gay would have been so thrilled to stay an extra year. But he's
yeah.
come out and he said, "Yeah, I love it here. I love this club. I love my teammates. I love my manager, and I love the fans. Like I'm a South London boy. I'm just going to get on with it and enjoy it, make the most of it. You know, he doesn't see an extra year in South London as a negative. He sees it as a positive, and that's just such a good thing to hear. And that at the end of the day comes down to how brilliant a job Oliver Glasner's done of kind of gelling this team. And I also think quickly as well, touching on that, his comments on essay as well were really refreshing because I think we misread it. We misread that situation, which is fine. I don't think any of us have really been or had a really idea other than what we'd seen with our own eyes, and that wasn't a very good look. And Glasner essentially came out and said, no, I've spoken to Romain. We think that the best thing to do is drop him to the 21 so that he can get a bit of pressure off his shoulders and he can just get focused on getting back to his best on the football pitch, and then he'll be back into the first team. That's brilliant. Like, it's a win-win for everyone. Do you know what I mean? We don't need Esse in the first team all the time at the moment, especially if he's not going to play. And we also want him to develop. So there's nothing wrong with having him in the 21s for a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he took it really well, didn't he? It seems by the way Glasner has spoken about him positively as well. So yeah, really, really good to see the harmony's just there. The culture Glasner has brought, the mentality he's brought, the cohesion he's brought. It is just perfect at this moment. Well, that's all for today. We could probably talk for hours, but we'd just be carrying on repeating ourselves about what a performance that was.
The
So
only thing that we haven't said is that we are on for an invincible Premier League season, and we're also on for a what would it be? Community Shield, FA Cup, Premier League, League Cup, a quintuplet. We are on. We're
that's
gonna
what I
win it
should
all.
title
Look.
it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna win it all. Palace are winning. Official Palace are winning it all. That's it.
When did you think you did chance of now you don't believe us, we're gonna win the league
I
around
couldn't stop
Selhurst Park?
laughing. Honestly, I
Crazy,
could not stop
crazy.
laughing.
Amazing times. It's been so amazing so far. Let's hope it continues on Thursday and Sunday. We will be back again next Monday. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Let me know if you think that was the best limbs you've ever seen at Selhurst Park if you were there as well. That has been all from us today. Henry, got anything else to add to that?
Just up the Palace, mate. That's what I can say. Up the Palace. Up the Palace.
Up the Palace, and we'll see you later.